Hi folks, Brendan here from Advanced Radio, and today I'm going to be taking you through a couple of the new features on version 3 of the SF10 and 20 Pro. Now today I'm going to be using the 10 and I'm going to be using FrSky, but a lot of these features are across each individual radio. So first things first, I've already set up the gyro, so you'll notice that if I move this, you'll see the servos moving and wiggling. That's already in version 2 and version 1, but version 3 allows you to adjust the gain values on the radio. I'll show you how to do that. First, after we set up the gyro, we go into the screen, we go into Smooth Flite, and we go into TX controls, which is this button right there. And you'll see we have a whole bunch of listings here. Elevator TX, aileron TX, rudder TX, stick groove, and model feel. We've also got a control type and what the type is representative of. So right now I've got all of my gains set up on a variable control, which just happens to be this slider on my radio, my right-hand slider. Then I can adjust my stick groove and my model feel using two different dials. You can have these the same, but I just prefer to have them separate just to show you. Now I've set up the gains so that each individual gain is on the same channel, but you can have individual channels for each. It also, in version 3, allows you to have a switch as your gain control. If I assign a switch, let's say it's this one here, what I do is I can actually toggle it. So the stick has to go to center, and then as I toggle it up, it'll actually increment the gain 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And to set that mode, instead of having a variable, which is like this, I just go into where it says variable and I hit toggle. So now, as I move the right slider up one, you'll actually see that the gain on my radio will start to increment 1, 2, 3, 4. Now I am showing you the telemetry, which I'll get to in a later step, but that's the next big feature of version 3. If I want to go back to variable, I click on the toggle, and now as I move my slider, my gain will actually adjust based on the position of the slider. Now, a really cool feature of this is it will adjust it only from the point that it is. So if you've got your gain set to 65%, the slider has to reach 65% before you'll see any gain adjustment on the model. Okay. Once you've flown, you turn your model off, turn it back on again, it'll save those gain values and you can actually just leave it as such. Really cool feature so far. Next feature I wanted to show is the version 3 telemetry. So in version 3, we actually give you telemetry on the SF10, which it wasn't previously included because the SF10 doesn't have any battery management, which was our primary telemetry focus. But now what we do is we give you telemetry controls on your radio. And a couple of the telemetry controls that we give you are your live gain, so your X, Y, and Z. Now, I'll show you how to do this on the FrSky radio system, just to set these up because they're not auto-found, they are a DIY sensor, but these values can also be seen on Jetty and Spectrum as well. So how do we do that on the FrSky radio? What we do is I've renamed them X, Y, and Z, but if you notice in the manual, it'll actually say you've got to create a DIY sensor. So what I'll do is I'll go and create DIY sensor, I'll go auto detect, and it'll actually find all of these sensor slots, 5207, 8, all the way up to 15. Now you're not seeing all of them because I've already set them up, but 506 and 507 are receiver frames. So there, if you have single or dual receivers set up, you can actually see the receiver frames coming in. And 13, 14, 15 is the AGC value. So that's the actual gain that the system is outputting when AGC kicks in. So it's a good way of monitoring if you are actually hitting your AGC limits or not. And 11, 12, and 13 are live gain. So that's actually what you said in the radio. So I'll come back out now and I'll just go through the setup process again. So we go auto detect, we go, let's say we want to do 5207. It'll automatically assign the name. You can rename it in the FrSky radio. Then what we do is we come out. Now, because I don't have a second receiver in, that's actually set to 0, but you can see on RX frames here, it's actually counting up. If I go into my Smooth Flite, go receiver, and go reset, you'll notice that the frames here and here are now counting up, and there will be a bit of a delay because it does take a little bit of time for this to process, send it down, and then process here, but you can see that when I hit the reset, the frames reset here started matching what's here too. Now, my live gain X, Y, and Z, these are the gains on each of my axis. So you can see as I'm adjusting the dial, those values are changing. The third one, which is DIY 5213, is my AGC gain. Hopefully you can all see that. And AGC gain is the gain that the system is actually outputting. So if I highlight it, which is this one here, I believe this is elevator. So as I move the unit up and down, you'll actually see the AGC kicking in, and it's dropped the gain down to 38, and then it's coming back up because I'm only moving this system very small amounts. If I actually pick up the whole board, you should see the AGC is kicking in there. Okay, so the AGC, that's the AGC value, and we do give that on the telemetry function as well. Okay, so they're just two of the main features in the V3 update. Another one we do have is in the receiver menu and Failsafe, and we now have full Failsafe on all 32 channels on the SF10 and the SF20. Even though the SF10 has 10 physical outputs, it still processes 32 channels. Okay, so thanks for watching, guys. I'll go through an in-depth video on how to set up the telemetry on each radio so you can get the most out of your Pro unit. Thanks for watching again, guys, and please stay tuned for more videos.